3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Queen Stage. We're here to spotlight the athletes, stories, and action in women's cycling, giving the sport the attention it deserves. And we're going to do so with the quality, depth, and personality the sport demands.
I'm Rosael Torres Davis.
I'm Betsy Welch. I'm Anna Maria Roque.
And I'm Molly Herford.
Hello and welcome to Queen Stage. I'm your host, Rosael, and today I'm joined by Betsy and Molly.
Hello, hello. We are 3 stages in. We are out of Switzerland and we are into France. Stage 3 took the peloton from Geneva into the Jura Mountains. The women rode 157 kilometers to Poligny, France's self-proclaimed capital of Comté cheese.
You know, I feel like I've now heard so much about this Comté cheese by the commentators that I think we may need to have like a post-tour fondue party or something. It's really making me crave it. But it was not a gentle, cheese-filled welcome to France either. I hope none of the riders, for their sake, had a lot of cheese the night before because they had their first major climb, the Col de la Faucille, which they hit at just 12 kilometers in. That climb is about that long. It's 11.4 kilometers at 6.3%. It's easily the toughest climb that they've faced so far. And that is exactly the kind of terrain that we love for a breakaway happening.
Before we get into how it played out, we have to thank our presenting sponsors for the Tour de France Femmes avec Zwift, which are Bike Tires Direct and SHARAM. It's been an absolute joy working with them, and their support for women's cycling coverage is what allows us to bring this coverage to your ears.
If you haven't already, hit subscribe, leave us a review, and send your questions to info@queenstage.cc. Or find us at queenstage.cc on Instagram and Threads. You can also join our WhatsApp chat. The link to that is in our Instagram bio.
And don't forget, we are giving away a Queen Stage musette every day of the tour, brought to you by Zwift and Bike Tires Direct. It includes 2 Bike Tires Direct bottles, a Zwift Watch the Femmes musette, and a cycling cap. Very hard to find, by the way. These cycling caps do not come easy. Plus some excellent premium stickers. I said yesterday, I'll say it again. I finally stickered my laptop. That was a very big deal for me.
Yes.
Also, a fantastic electric bike pump that fits in your jersey pocket, and a very demure, very dry rain wallet for all of those rainy rides. And yesterday's Stage 2 musette winner goes by the Instagram handle of @KatiePatton1216. Congrats, and we'll be in touch with how we're going to get your swag to you.
Enter today's What's in Your Musette giveaway for Stage 3. It's very simple. Head to our Instagram @queenstage.cc. Find today's Stage 3 highlight post, comment Bike Tires Direct, and tag 2 friends. That's it.
And you can save 10% at biketiresdirect.com with code QueenStage, all one word, and it will directly support our show.
Yes, and okay, Rosael, I have a question. Cross is coming. Can I use that code on my cross tires?
Absolutely. See if they have some baby limas there for you and get that 10% discount code.
Okay,
Perfect.
Wait, then I have to ask, can I get 10% off my mountain bike tires?
Oh, absolutely. And they have a great selection of those.
Excellent. Okay, so this is not just the tires that are winning the Tour de France Femmes. We can get any tires we want with the code Queen Stage. Fantastic. Let's get into it. Before we dive in, Betsy was not with us yesterday, so I thought we should catch her up real quick.
Let's catch her up because a lot happened yesterday.
Yes.
Thanks, guys.
So yesterday, really exciting 148-kilometer stage. We had an early breakaway featuring a few riders. There were a few punchy climbs, but to be honest, we never really thought the breakaway was going to last. We sort of knew that the leaders were the sprint teams were going to reel them in, and reel them in they did. They were caught by the peloton at around 40 kilometers to go. But things got interesting when Lidl Trek's Rihanna Marcus decided that she was going to go off the front. And I said it yesterday. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to keep saying it. If you want to watch some of the most perfect form in a breakaway, just the most beautiful bike riding, her breakaway that almost made it to the finish line was a work of art, although I think we may have to like have a debate over which breakaway. Too many spoilers. Anyway,
Yes.
anyway, behind Rihanna Marcus, SD Works really got to the front. They were doing the work. They desperately wanted to get her back because they wanted Lorena Wiebes to take the stage in a sprint finish. And they caught Rihanna Marcus with under half a kilometer to go. It looked painful. It was a beautiful sprint. Surprising no one, Lorena Wiebes managed to slink herself somehow out of being boxed in, get around everyone, even though her team was exhausted and not really able to lead a lead-out train for her. She freelanced her way to a fantastic sprint finish, taking the win, the yellow jersey once again. She was followed by Alyssa Balsamo of Lidl Trek and Marianne Vos of Visma Lisa Bike. And a couple fun facts about yesterday's stage, courtesy of the Tour de France Femmes. Wiebes was up to 63.2 kilometers per hour. That's 39.3 miles per hour in that final kilometer. Go out and try to
Pretty
do that.
fast.
Just see.
Pretty damn fast.
Yeah. Her peak sprint power was 1,050 watts, roughly 17.5 watts per kilogram, which is a number that I didn't think was actually a thing that someone could do. So when they say she's the fastest woman in the world, they're not messing around.
Yeah. And Betsy, what do you think of that stage finish?
So cool. I mean, I love, and again, spoiler for my segment here, but I love like a gutsy move. And so for Marcus to do that and like so, boldly, beautifully, that's awesome. And then I also love a Wiebes like being the GOAT and being the best in the world. So to me, I think that was a great stage. And not that like the men's tour is full of drama and shadiness and like bad behavior, but and who knows, we're only 3 stages in, but like that's great bike racing yesterday. Like pure talent, pure tactics, like just cool, very cool. So
yeah, and like good timing from the chasing peloton while still not making it boring, making it like a 100% sure catch. So yeah, it was really good. So Betsy, do you wanna tell us what happened on today's stage 3?
I will try my best.
Yes.
As we mentioned, it was 157 kilometers, so a bit longer than the first 2 stages. It was our first hilly stage, Geneva to Poligny. We entered France just 5 kilometers into the race. Adieu, Switzerland. It was hot, again, very hot. And kind of the big deal of the day, or at least the first big deal of the day, was this climb that came 23K into the race. So basically the race started and it was
that
like...
we completely missed.
Yeah.
Like the most important climb of the day. Yeah.
That's what my notes say. The big deal was this climb, but no one saw it. So we have a lot more to say about that. Anyway, this climb was 23 kilometers in. It was, like Molly said, about 12 kilometers long, 6.3% average grade. Yeah, we didn't see it. Thankfully, we have friends on the ground, and in our WhatsApp chat, they shared videos and pictures. So we learned that Puck Pieterse took the max points there. Followed by Nicola Noskova, who is that Cofidis rider who is having an incredible tour.
Yep.
Like this is one to watch. Anyway, the climb, as anticipated, strung out the peloton. It seemed like people were struggling like already. Even good climbers. Like I think I heard Urska Zigart was having a hard time. So anyway, as suspected, this first climb strung things out. There was another little bump climb right after that was a lot shorter, but that also like further strung things out. Then we started to see the attacks start to come. And again, it was a little tricky to know like exactly what happened when, because our broadcast started like kind of mid-race, essentially. So that was a bit of a bummer. But at that point, one rider, or I guess a group of riders, sort of led by one rider, Sigrid Haugset from UnoX Mobility, formed a break. But like at some point, that group of 10 or 11 riders, Sigrid went off.
Yeah. Like at one point, I think after the third or fourth climb, she attacked solo and went solo.
She attacked solo.
But she wasn't in the initial, or was she in the initial? Okay, she was in the
I
initial
think she
one,
was
but
in
there was
that.
a bigger chase group behind them.
Right.
So, yeah, it was a very confusing, very hard to follow beginning thing. And I really wish the commentators were better at catching us up with what happened, because I was scouring every source I could find to try to figure out exactly when things were happening. And it was not great.
Right. Yeah, it took us a while to catch up. Once we caught up, however, it seemed to kind of become very clear what was happening, which is this Uno X rider attacks. Lotte Kopecky tries to go, and so then it becomes, we have the Norwegian national champ, Lotte Kopecky, like sort of dangling from 30 to 45 seconds behind. And this goes on. Like this becomes the bulk of what we're watching. And then
and for many kilometers, it looked like Kopecky would maybe bridge and could take the win, and that caused basically SD Works to not put any work in the peloton behind.
Right. So the peloton is like 4 minutes back for, many tens of kilometers, just kind of chilling. The action started to really get exciting, I would say, at the bottom of the last climb, which was also like a very short, very steep climb. If you guys were watching the footage of the peloton descending into the base of this climb, it was heart attack inducing.
I think there's a really SBS Sport posted on Instagram reel about this older man who was sitting on a beach chair right in the way out of a corner, and he almost got hit by the first person in the peloton taking that corner a little bit too wide.
Well, one guy fell off the hill.
Another guy
saw
fell off. Anyway, that was exciting. Kim LaCourte really
she lit it up, right?
She really opened it up there. Great ride by her today in general too. She was trying to.
Also, didn't we mention her yesterday that she could be a good one for today's stage, given that it looked like a classic race stage?
Yeah, 100%. So Kim LaCourte puts in a big move to the front. Now we're back in the peloton here. Our other two riders are still up the road. Again, Sigrid Haugset beat Kopecky to the top of that climb. She's still got 30 seconds. GC riders are going full gas. They're kind of closing the gap, but not that much. I mean, what did they get it down to? 2:20 or something?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, on that last climb, we have kind of the GC riders all there finally together, doing something-ish. And then, after that climb, there seemed to be a stalemate, and everyone was just okay, well, nothing happened there. And then for me, this became really just watching Sigrid Haugset, ride to this incredible victory. Molly, you mentioned, you rarely get chills. I was tearing up. I mean, this was really, really cool. However, I thought Kopecky was going to catch her when it got flatter and they were coming into town. Did she get it down to 10 seconds?
Yeah, when it was 5 or 6 kilometers to go, she was under 10, and you're oh, that's
it's Lotte Kopecky, right?
Yeah, no chance. But I don't know if she lost a wind or Sigrid found a wind, but by the time they finished, it was 124 was the gap?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Huge.
Spoiler.
Yeah. So right. Let's just go there. So Sigrid Haugset wins solo, incredible 88-kilometer solo ride, which longest solo win in the Tour de France Femmes avec Zwift ever. I think Annemiek van Vleuten had that and no more. So what a cool ride. What a willing or a deserving champion. It was really exciting. It's the kind of stuff you love to see. Again, kind of like yesterday. Love to see this.
100%.
Yeah, and it was fun to see that we still got, the GC riders, they got to a stalemate, but there were still some movements that did affect the GC a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so on that note, the top 5 on the day were obviously Sigrid Haugset from Uno X Mobility. Lotte Kopecky from SD Works in second. Marianne Vos had a nice little third place jump across the line. And then in fourth, did you guys know this name? Ostolaza Zabala from that Laboral Kushta Basque team. And then Kim
Wow.
Lacourt from AG Insurance Sudal in fifth. Jersey standings, Puck took the polka dots, which was cool. She seemed kind of on a mission today to get a lot of those climbing points.
Yeah, she did.
Wiebes keeps the green jersey, the points jersey, and Paula Blasi stays in white. I didn't do top 5 in the GC. Does someone have it pulled up?
Yeah, I got
think
it pulled up here.
I
In
think
the
I can do it, but-
DC, yeah, in the DC, we have now Haugset in first place with a 2-minute advantage to Kim Lacourt Pienaar. And third place is Demi Vollering. And I guess fourth place, Noemi Rüegg. Fifth place, Marianne Vos. So between Kim Lacourt Pienaar and Demi Vollering, there are just 4 seconds of a difference. But yeah, now they have to make up that time to Haugset, but I think that should be all right because we don't know the caliber of Haugset in the mountains. Maybe she can hold on for it one more day, depending on how the time trial goes tomorrow, right?
How cool would that be if she, somehow had the legs to do really well in the time trial?
Well,
which
she is a time
her
trialist,
specialty,
actually.
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
right. Oh, crazy.
That
But
would
yeah,
be
looking at
amazing.
the GC, people that need to make up for time tomorrow, it looks like Elisa Longoborghini, Kasia Niewiadoma, Puck Pieterse. I don't know. I don't think she's the GC rider of her team. Pauline Ferrand-Prévot, Marlon Reuser even, and Anna Vandenbregen because she was pretty far back. They all need to put a big effort tomorrow.
Yeah. And I think one question I think a lot of people were sort of like wondering about is why let Sigrid get that far away? Why let her take the yellow jersey? Because I would say this is something we actually haven't seen that much in women's stage racing. We actually see it a lot more in men's where they're kind of willing to let one of these, like, I'm going to say unimportant, and I don't mean it in a personal way. I just mean in like you weren't Sigrid is not Uno X's leader. Like, she's not the team leader. She was not expected to win anything. So why let her win by 2 minutes? The men's race, they do it all the time because they have 21 stages to play with. But we only have 6 stages to go. Is 2 minutes actually like a lot? Would we be worried about this? Like, I don't know. What did you two think? Because I feel like this is actually a very different kind of race than anything we've seen before.
And I'm super
now.
interested to see what happens because then tomorrow we have the time trial, and it's hard to say how that's gonna go because I'll get into it when I do the preview of that. But after the time trial, we also have another crazy, climby, punchy classics day that is followed by Mont Ventoux after that. So very interesting. It's really hard to tell if the GC is just going to let it play till Mont Ventoux to make up that time again. We'll see.
Yeah.
But anyway, I should mention what the tire of the day was presented by Bike Tires Direct. And today's tire, ridden by Haugset of Uno X Mobility, was a Continental Grand Prix 5000. It's a tire that won today's stage of the Tour de France Femmes avec Zwift. And so I headed onto biketiresdirect.com to read a little bit about this tire. And the 2 best features of this tire, not only that it's super fast and grippy, but it's also very puncture resistant. And it has a lot of reviews on the page. Also, it comes in 3 different widths, and the max width is 28. But there is a possibility that the riders of Uno X were riding 30s, as I read that the men's team was riding 30s. But anyway, a reviewer going by NYC2PDX from Portland, Oregon, wrote, "When deep into a turn at speed, these tires make a very satisfying squealing sound from the compound gripping the road surface. The tire absolutely carves corners and turns and scoops the road under power." And yeah, in those descents and those turns today, I guess maybe there would have been a squealing coming off Haugset's tires.
I really used like a mic, like a moto holding a microphone down in the corner just to get that squeaky sound. I'm now curious.
Yes.
If her jump in Instagram followers today is any indication, maybe we'll be seeing a lot more of those tires on the road too, because I think someone said she gained like 1,000 Instagram followers in 1 minute. So
Wow. Yeah. I mean, we were one of those because I immediately went to her account and followed and did some sleuting.
Yeah. Well,
Same.
buy her tires too.
Yeah.
And
use code Queen States at checkout for 10% off.
I think we should just go right into the TV coverage thing because we've already alluded to it. I know that I'm actually here on the West Coast this week, and at 6:30 when I woke up and went to turn on Peacock, it was like live coverage coming, and I was like, did I miss something? Like, did this one start later? Like, what's going on? And then I logged on to our WhatsApp chat, and everyone was like freaking out, like, what's going on? So what was going on, you guys?
It's a great question.
It's a great question because on the European stream was already running, but for some reason, I think Flow Bikes and Peacock had like a bit of a delay of sorts. Molly, what do you notice or what do you know?
Well, was it a significant? No one showed from the start. Like that.
Yeah, nobody did for the start. They only did that for the grounded part. Yeah.
No, I think if any, like it was a matter of minutes. It was not a matter of like an hour or something like that. So I would say that was probably just some like hookups and like actual technical getting going kind of issues. The bigger issue, like the issue that everyone actually like should be pissed off about, frankly, is that ASO decided to only show the last couple hours of everything other than stages 1, 8, and 9, which I believe are going to be shown in their entirety. Stage 1 we know was, and then this the last weekend, so Saturday, Sunday, we should see the whole stage. But the other 6 stages, we're only supposed to get 2 hours. It's a piss off. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
And ASO, for listeners, is the Almery Sports organization that owns the Tour de France Femmes and Hommes. And they also thus own the TV rights. And then we go, it's like, I'm picturing it like a pyramid. So it's the ASO and, and then French TV or like TV France or something. Like then they become like a distributor. Help.
Yeah, I think it's something. So if any listeners have more intel of how it works, because the thing is, it is hard to figure out who's responsible for the coverage. Because in Paris-Roubaix, we had a similar situation, and it had to do also with French TV and the organization in the town assigning a budget for the women's race that did not allow them to cover the whole race.
Yeah. So ultimately, there's a few people or few organizations that we can kind of blame for this. The people who aren't necessarily to blame, unfortunately, are the easiest people to contact, though, where it's like your NBCs, your Flow Bikes, the people, like the coverage that you're paying to watch actually probably is like kind of the best place to log your complaints, right? To like tag, comment, etc. ASO as well. But I think the more basically people were asking in the WhatsApp, like, what can we do? How do we get the coverage going? And a big part of that is, making sure that everyone from the bottom of the food chain to the top knows that we're really annoyed that we can't watch the whole race.
Plug to follow the Cyclist Alliance.
Yeah, I was going to say, yes.
Yeah. They, they're the rider advocacy group, and they are often the pulse on this kind of stuff and can also help direct us to where we can make the biggest impact.
Yeah. In the meantime, we can just keep the issue alive and visible by commenting on Peacock NBC if they have Instagram or any socials. Just keep asking why this is happening. Even we know now that they don't have full control over the situation, but just it keeps the message out there that we want to see more of this racing. And and if we come up with any letter writing campaign or anything like that, we'll let you know.
And the other thing is just to keep watching. And we were joking before we started recording, like watching on multiple screens, right? Like I had the one in my garage going while I was on the trainer, but I also had it playing on the TV because Peter was watching out here. And then I had it going on my computer in the shower because of course I'm not going to stop watching it because I have to take a shower. That'd be ridiculous. So
yeah, like if you're a bartender, a barista, and your workplace has TVs, make sure it's
Just
tuning
turn it
into the
on.
Tour de France
Yeah.
while you're doing your shift. That's what I do at the coffee shop I work at. And if you're visiting your parents over the weekend, just turn on that TV and look for. They probably have cable, right? So you can still look up NBC, and hopefully they'll have it live there. And just tell your friends to watch it. Just tell them how exciting it really is.
because it is a numbers game, right? Like if more people are watching, then the TV companies understand that they can sell more ads, they can sell more subscription packages, etc. It becomes more worthwhile for them to ask for more coverage. It becomes more worthwhile for ASO to provide more coverage. Unfortunately, the right thing is not always the best or like the most financially
Right.
sound thing. We need to
Right.
make sure that it becomes the financially sound thing. Like, oh, it actually makes sense to pay for the full broadcast, not just the last 2 hours.
Yeah. And anyway, due to that lack of coverage, we miss some crashes that involve riders
Right.
like Noemi Rüegg, Pieterse, Magdalene Valieres, and Demi Vollering. It seemed that they were fine given how they were able to finish the stage, so maybe it was nothing crazy.
So I had a question for you two, because I'm wondering if this is just me, but I struggle when I came into it, and I was trying to follow all the feeds and see what was happening and reading about what was happening. But I really struggled when I first turned it on to just get into the race and figure and just like get my focus attached to it. And that really bums me out, because I'm like, how many people end up kind of just like flipping the channel, or like their focus just isn't there because they don't know what's happening. It's like watching a movie halfway through, and
Yeah.
you can kind of figure it out, but
Or any other sporting event. I think that's like probably why I hate American football so much, is because I always feel like I'm just like walking in and like everyone is into it and I'm like, what's going on? This is dumb. And yeah, and then I walk right back out. But or Molly, was it because the announcers or the commentators were just, they spent quite a lot of time talking about food and cheese and
Yeah.
for sure.
No,
I
like
think they were
maybe-
confused too.
Yeah, if it's not the commentators every now and then giving us a little bit of a synopsis of what's happened so far, it would be nice if we had some graphics on the screen just saying these are the highlights of what's happened so far.
So I definitely had to really stop normally I can kind of multitask a little
Yeah,
bit
right.
as I'm watching, but I had to stop everything and just focus so hard for like 30 minutes, which is not really a hardship when this is your job. But like it is hard for just the average. If I have to do that as someone who follows this professionally, how hard is that for the average person who's just watching it for fun?
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, because I think of the broadcasting nonsense, the commentators too, like they couldn't spend all the time rehashing. So they were also jumping in, which is why it was like, there was a crash, Vollering was in it. And it was like, do we need to know more about that? And fortunately we didn't, I guess. But yeah, it was a tricky start today. But then it became just like popcorn. It was so good.
Yeah, absolutely. And then a couple other like little shout outs here. I gotta give like a hat tip here to Cofidis. Like they've been in every breakaway. They've just had a really stellar, like, we're gonna animate this race. And I just wanted to give them a little applause over here.
Yeah, this is a very bad joke, but is the women's Cofidis team also vampires? Are they vampires? I think years ago, there was a memer, a cycling memer, who wanted to make everybody believe that the men's team in Cofidis were all vampires. And it was just a very silly joke. But anyway, yeah.
Okay, I appreciate that, but you are gonna have to go back and find the source material for that and link to it.
Yeah,
so I can
I'll
say.
find the lore and I'll share it next time.
Please do. Please do. On teams that are not doing very well, Lotto
Yeah.
Intermarché, another
Eesh.
dropout. Like, at some point, I feel like that team just has to pull out of this race.
They've got 3 riders.
Yeah.
Just go home, guys.
So
Sorry.
is it a stomach bug or what is it?
They still haven't
It has
said.
to be. It has to be. And yeah.
I mean, we saw it in the men's tour. There's got to be something. I haven't seen them say anything outwardly, but surely they have some kind of illness within that team. Otherwise, that team is cursed and they need to do some kind of like crystals or salts. I don't know. I'm not a
I mean,
Wiccan,
just
but
a
they've got a
an educated guess would be that something just contagious. So either they, or not contagious, but they either ate something that wasn't very good, or they have some kind of viral thing going through the team.
yeah. If I was in a hotel with them, I would be leaving that hotel and sleeping in the team van for sure.
Yeah.
Well, it's like we were talking about on the first episode too, like why people get sick. You know, this heat is no joke, and
Yes, the
you
heat.
can get really sick from heat.
Yeah. So it was like 92 degrees today Fahrenheit, and I guess that felt hotter while you were there. So probably like it felt like 96 degrees or something like that. So yeah, and also humid.
Yeah. Yeah. And then my last little shout out here. I just wanted to say it's really nice to see Urska Zigart like back racing after that horrific crash she had earlier this season where she broke her jaw. Just really, really glad that she recovered that quickly and was able to get back in the peloton and actually like be in it, not just like immediately off the back. So hat tip to the fast healing that she clearly has.
Yeah.
I had a dental appointment last week and I'm still like, I can't do anything right now. Useless. Okay. Can we talk about boobs being arrow, please?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Go for it, because this was surprising.
Yeah. So Wielerflits, Belgian sports news site, put out an article earlier today. The translation of it, I'm sure, is not exactly what the Belgian paper would read, but the translation Google did is abuse of breast size in time trials curbed. So there's your context right there. So apparently, some teams are on the UCI, or the UCI is talking about checking to make sure that in the time trial, women are not stuffing their bras, for lack of a better term. That is actually literally what they're talking about. Because apparently padding our bras, as we learned a few episodes back, wind tunnel testing has shown that boobs are arrow.
Yeah.
So
yeah, simply because the roundness in that part of the body pushes the air to the sides of you, and instead of acting like a sail, your chest.
Not something that I have ever been aware of, sadly. But yeah, apparently riders are potentially going to be checked to make sure that they're not over padding their bras. We already knew that they weren't allowed to have stuff down. This was like a big UCI thing a couple months ago in gravel racing in particular. They were talking about like no putting anything down the front of your jerseys. Riders were stuffing stuff down the front, whether it was ice or snacks or water bladders.
Yeah.
Because yes, more arrow.
And in the men's tour, right, the UCI prohibited putting ice socks in the front of your jersey in the time trial because of the arrow gains, even though
or in the
by
back,
the time you get to, or the back, or even though when you get to the line, it's all melted away, and it's also, better for the rider's health. But whatever.
So
but yeah, I don't like this of like the UCI checking bras. Like, not
Are they going to
good.
do this tomorrow before the time trial? Potentially?
That's the theory that's put forward in this article. This is actually like being led by some of the teams, apparently. And again, this is according to this newspaper that we're translating, so like unclear on the exact circumstances. But padding a large sports rod during a time trial is prohibited because it creates an aerodynamic advantage for the rider. The team that Wielerflits spoke to says that they believe the UCI jury should take action against this. And I'm reading this directly here. In their view, this could be done very simply. Have a female juror check the riders in a closed tent immediately after the time trial to ensure that they are not hiding anything in their bras or under their aero clothing. What the actual... Like, beat me there, please. But that is horrific. Look, we have already had enough, rant incoming here. We have already had enough problems, like, with this whole, like, gender or like biological sex testing where they're already talking about doing that in general. This is just absolute crap.
No. Like, absolutely not. If this needs to be applied as a rule, then it has to be an honor system. And also, like, I think it will be obvious if a rider one day has like regular size boobs and then the next day at the TT shows up with like C cups, no, absolutely no. We're not going to start like checking boobs. Please don't do that.
No. Ridiculous. Look, no one likes a padded sports bra, all right? Like, let's be clear here, right? Like, we've all had those, like, all the sports bras that come with, like, the removable cups. What do you do with them? You remove them.
Remove
because
them immediately.
they're terrible. Yeah, no one wants to ride like that.
Yeah. But also I could see a situation where, you know, like a lot of female riders, a lot of females, women in general, will have maybe one breast that is bigger than the other. And maybe to feel good about themselves or whatever, and not draw too much attention to that part of their body, they may have a bra that makes it look like they're both even.
This is just so absurd. And yeah, as far as like things that we're like investigating or worrying about in the women's peloton, this really should not be anywhere near the top of the list here, people.
Yeah. No, because then we will have to be checking for men getting like pectoral implants or something to at least have a more rounded. Like,
Yeah. Let's get the jurors in there checking that.
Right? Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
just
boy.
another thing that, like, once it just all leads to this, like, women having to, like, prove something or having our bodies be checked over for, like, whether or not they're okay. And, like, how embarrassing would it be to be like, I think you're wearing a padded sports bra and you're not? Like, oh, sorry, these are just my boobs.
Yeah. No, not cool. Go ahead, Betsy.
No, it's just
It's
horrible.
gross.
It's
Yeah.
It's
Well,
it's-
anyway, then let's move on to our rider deep dive because we should talk more about this person.
Yes. Okay. I'm going to switch over to being in a very good mood now because
Yes.
I am really excited. So obviously today we are going to do a deep dive on Sigrid Haugset of Uno X Mobility, 27 years old. This is her first year in the Women's World Tour. She signed with Uno X Mobility back in October of 2025, so just 9 months ago. I fully admit I did not really realize that Uno X Mobility is a fully Scandinavian team. They're only Scandinavian riders with the purpose of bringing up Scandinavian riders. Clearly working very well.
Yes.
Sigrid is from Norway. So good job. Well done, Norway. So actually, I just wanted to read a couple quotes from her. The first thing she said when she crossed the finish line was, I'm so tired.
This is so cute.
It was so good. So a reporter asked her, is this a dream come true? And she said, no, because I haven't been thinking about it, because I never thought it was possible. It's unreal. Like, just
That's
so
adorable.
So adorable. Although I do want to have a word. Her one quote was like, I was so dizzy at the end. My boyfriend will be angry with me for not celebrating, but I couldn't lift my arms off the bike. It was impossible. If her boyfriend is at all annoyed about this, he can come on here and talk to us about that. I'm sure he's very supportive and was very happy for her. Anyway, we do not really know a ton about her, unfortunately. And I dug. I dug so hard. But she is one of these Gen Zers at 27 years old who mainly uses emojis and very short captions on her Instagram. So we could not learn a whole lot about her backstory. And also, since she started racing professionally in 2022, she started with Team Coop High Tech Products, which is a continental team. Since then, she has literally only posted on bike content. She is not one to really post any kind of like personal stuff. It is all just bikes. Before that, what we can kind of glean, we know she was a runner before she switched over to cycling when she was around 22 years old. We know, or we're speculating based on pictures, that she has done Norway's mandatory military service, which applies to both men and women, 19 to 44, where they have to do a year of service. We know she played soccer as a kid. We're not sure how much soccer, how in deep she was with it. But yeah, I'm so excited to like learn more about her. But it is wild to be like, oh my God, she won a stage, and I cannot find really much at all about her other than
and
cycling.
another fun fact I read about was that in 2025 she raced Paris-Roubaix and she had a crash where she fractured her hip and she had to ride over 50 kilometers with a fractured hip. So not that anybody, should do that, but it just shows you, what a tough cookie she is. And of course, the peloton was going to try to not give her a full 4-minute lead because then she could maybe take the race whole. But yeah, let's see how she does tomorrow, right?
I
Because
know. I
tomorrow is
mean,
the
that's
time
what
trial.
I was thinking too. Like, is her team, on the radio, or are they just like, well, fuck it, like, just go, don't think about tomorrow. Like, yeah, maybe tomorrow was supposed to be your day, but like,
Yeah, which is
So-
also maybe why the DC didn't go 100% and they just reached that stalemate because they need to also conserve energy for tomorrow.
Yeah, and she did. So she did come on. She was supposed to be just a domestique for the tour. She was supposed to be late climbing support. However, they did say she had options for stage opportunities in different race scenarios. So race
Options.
scenario unlocked.
Yes.
Dunzo there. The other interesting thing I did find is looking at her race days. So back in 2022, her first year racing, she did 19 days. 2023, 2024, 53 and 57 race days. 2025, 40 race days. She's only raced 7 days in 2026.
Wow.
So clearly they were really like getting her ready for this race, and she came in obviously with fantastic form. Even the fact, the one thing we haven't really shouted out is like she's now ahead by 2 minutes, and what that means is that the last 2 days she didn't lose any time. Like she was still in a good position day 1 and day 2.
Yeah,
So-
but she made up 45 places. right, in the
45
GC.
places. Yeah.
That's crazy.
And like, yeah, what was her GC in stage 2? That's what I'm kind of curious about.
Check it out.
Okay, you guys look for that, and
Mhm.
I'm going to start talking about our questions of the day.
Go ahead.
Thanks, folks, in the WhatsApp chat for having such great questions. The first one is, does anyone know why the UCI has changed white jersey classification to U24 instead of U23 this year? Great for Blasi, but why change it? Great question. Why change it?
Great question.
And does it matter? Right?
And does it do we care? Like, really, is this something that...
Yeah, given that in the men's is under 25. The
Which
age
I was thinking that's kind of like not ironic, but I feel like there are more young riders in the men's peloton. So if anything, the threshold would be lower there and higher in the women's. Anyway, so do we know why? Well, apparently last year, only 12 riders were eligible for this jersey. So expanding the eligibility by 1 year makes it more competitive and gives more riders the ability to compete for this jersey. I guess this year there are 26 riders that are under 24. So they've essentially like doubled the field.
I'm not against that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I am either. I guess the weird thing, or the sort of like UCI-ness of it all, is that they didn't announce it or like publicize it in any meaningful way. I read an interview with a team director who said that it only came up in the directors meeting on the Friday before the race. So yeah, I mean,
it's tricky because like, okay, so now basically the reason this matters is because Paula Blasi would not have been in
have
it
been eligible
if
right?
it was U23 and is now eligible as a U24. And I would say like she was not just potentially a white jersey, she's a yellow
Right.
jersey
Right.
candidate. So moving her into that, if I'm Lidl Trek, if I'm Canyon SRAM, I am pissed about this new ruling, because that means our riders are suddenly competing against someone who, yeah, could win the whole thing. Which again, like, is what it is. It's a technical thing.
Yeah.
But kind of a bummer.
Yeah, and like, why didn't they roll it out like January 1st or like whenever they set
Yeah,
the
or
rules
do
for the year?
A
And
press
it-
release. Yeah.
And it didn't. So it means the Giro and the Vuelta, or like whatever other races, didn't have this same continuity. So there's that. And then second question, back to our broadcasting stuff. What can the fans do to voice our support for getting full race coverage? Does it come down to engaging on socials and supporting the brands, messaging the organizer accounts? Hopefully we
Yes.
kind of already answered that.
Yeah. Yes. All of it. Do all of it. And until we find what is the best place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rosael?
Yeah.
Wait, did you guys figure out
So
where
we're very
Sigrid
bad
was
at
yesterday?
math because basically if she made up 45 places, it means that yesterday she was in 45th or 46th place. So
But she was only a minute and 14 down. Like the difference between the
okay.
places were not bad,
Okay.
but still impressive because like it's a staying within a minute on those days.
Yes.
Like after, to give you some perspective, like Kristen Faulkner, Lily Williams, they're more than 2 minutes down. Soraya Paladin, 6:45 down. So really good people are like minutes down already. So for her to be right up there is
very true. And also speaking of, because I was noticing how well Rosa Maria Closer of Canyon Ceram is doing, where she's only 3 minutes and 51 seconds down, which for somebody who has never raced a Grand Tour is pretty amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty badass.
Yeah, pretty badass. So let's hope that she makes it all the way to the end and we see her in action at some point, whether it's like as a domestique or just going for some moves in a stage. Let's jump into our next stage. So tomorrow, the riders will be going from Gevrey-Chambertin to Dijon, and it's a 21-kilometer individual time trial with only 255 meters of elevation. The route starts off pretty flat for about 8 kilometers before they approach a 1.8 kilometer climb that averages 6.9%. And there's going to be 3 hairpins to the Lacet de Marcenay. So that should be interesting how they handle the time trial bikes on those turns. And the time trial is pretty short, so we only have like an intermediate time check at 9.7 kilometers to go, so a little before halfway. And this is basically a place that let us know and let the riders know how they're doing and their pacing. So then the road keeps climbing as they reach Courcelles-Lumont before 9 rolling and mostly downhill kilometers that carry the riders to the finish line on Avenue du General de Gaulle. And looking at this route, it looks like, I don't know, it's really tough because it's not like TT enough to really favor like the pure time trialists, but it's not also steep enough, that climb, for the climbers and DC riders to have a great impact. So maybe we'll see more like people who are in between doing well in this race. Like, what would be your predictions for the day?
I have a hot take.
Go ahead.
hit us.
I'm gonna just say Kristen Faulkner.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I know.
Say more.
I don't know. I mean, she has been like targeting, training for, focused on. I'm not gonna take it back, but she time trialing in general. Now, this particular stage, like I would assume yes, but maybe not. I don't know. But I also just think she's this type of rider that is kind of could just like put her head down and go. I don't know. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not pick someone
like I
out
could
there,
see
you know?
I could see Zoe Baxted also doing really well here.
I'm going to say, and it's like kind of a predictable one, but I guess kind of unpredictable at this point. I'm going to say Marlon Reusser.
Yeah, we have to
Because-
say we have to say that.
Well, I mean, she didn't win the TT at the Giro d'Italia, and I think she's going to want sort of revenge on that. She also really hasn't had it. She's in the mix, but she hasn't really had any kind of breakout stuff while they were in Switzerland, which is where I thought she was really going to be like up there and a bit more animated, which I get is not like the way you would really ride as a GC person. But I think there's something to be said for like the biggest race in the world is happening in your country for these couple stages. A little razzle dazzle would have been expected, in my opinion. So I would love to see her just smash the time trial.
And actually, I mean, the thing is, if you're Marlon Reusser, you're leading Movistar, you're time trial specialist, and we're almost halfway through the tour. I think she has to go for it.
I think this is her moment. Yeah.
I would be happy for her. I also, my dark horse, well, mine are both dark horses. Let's not forget the queen, Anna van der Breggen, like who just can surprise us at any moment, kind of in any stage. Although she's been kind of hidden.
Yeah, no, she has to make up a lot of time. So she's also another one that if she could The thing is tough to tell because of the stages that come after. And also, like, Molly, as a coach, what would you tell somebody, like, how hard do you go in a 21-kilometer time
TT.
trial before the stage, the super bumpy stage you have the next day, which is followed by Mont Ventoux?
I mean,
It's tough, right?
yeah, it's so tough. It totally depends. It depends on whether Anna van der Breggen thinks she can actually take the yellow jersey at this point, or if she's more thinking it's going to be a potential for a stage win and she just wants to get one of those.
Yeah.
Because I think if she was willing to like light the matchbook on fire, she could win tomorrow. But that might be the last thing she does in this race.
Yeah. And also, like, think
Yeah.
tomorrow, it's so 21 kilometers is 13 miles. So I guess they'll be finishing in under an hour and under 45 minutes, right? So
It's nothing.
So maybe
I mean,
it's
come on,
nothing.
you
Maybe
guys,
now
what
that
are
I
you
think
talking-
about it, yeah, maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's just like a FTP test,
It's like
and
a
then the rest of the
good-
hotel.
Yeah. It's like
Yeah,
taking
although you feel
strides.
bad for the actually maybe this is I'm like, where's Anna van der Breggen in the standings right now? Because maybe this is actually helpful to be a little lower. So she's 18th, so not critically. Because the top people actually start last in the time trial.
right.
They have the later day, right? The people that are way down at the bottom actually finish and get back to their hotel way earlier than the leaders do. So maybe at least 18th, she maybe gets like an extra, 20 minutes or so at the end back in
Yeah.
her day.
Are we talking about Demi at all in this stage?
That could be interesting. Like,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, everybody could be all knives out tomorrow. I guess I'm just in my head. I'm just confused just because of how they have designed this middle part of the tour.
Okay, so
But
here's
yeah.
something wild when I'm looking at stage 2 to compare to stage 3 GC. So stage 2, 56 riders were within 2 minutes of the yellow jersey. Today, 0 riders are within 2 minutes
God.
of the
Wow.
GC leader. Which again is totally normal for races like
This
this. This is
early,
not like
yeah.
a shocker or anything, but it is pretty wild how the gaps grew today. Even actually like looking down the list, it's pretty substantial. Like after rider 34, the gap is now like over 4 minutes basically.
Yeah. And also we have to see Paula Blasi doing
Oh.
OTT, right? 'Cause
How
what
did
if
we
she
not even
also
mention
blows our
her?
socks? Yeah, no, it's just tough. Also because we haven't seen her be amazing just yet, right? And also she did say she would be in service of their leader, who also has a decent time trial in her, Elisa Longo Borghini.
Or is this Paula Blasi's time to like send it on the TT and get so far ahead of their leader that they have to switch their allegiance? Because I mean, team leader is only team leader until someone else is in the lead. Like Uno X has definitely shifted who they're riding for, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I
definitely.
think it's safe to say we're very excited about this time trial
Mhm.
tomorrow. Are we going to see everyone? Like, are they going to start on time?
This is
my
maybe
God.
the one stage that like doesn't totally suck that they're skipping. And okay, someone's gonna come at me for that. I apologize. Everyone knows I historically am like medium on watching TTs.
I think you're excited, Molly. I think you're
I'm a
excited.
little
for
excited.
tomorrow.
No, but we don't have to throw shade. TTs are not everybody cup of tea. So some people just tune in to watch the last people, the GC contenders go for it
Yeah.
at the end. Some
And good
people watch the
news,
whole
you get
thing.
to
Some
watch
people
those.
don't watch it at all and just read the news highlights.
100%.
We'll be watching, and
Yeah, we'll be watching. So
We'll-
should we wrap things up?
yes, we should.
All
We
right,
should.
so that is a wrap for stage 3 here at Queen Stage. Thank you again to our presenting sponsors, Bike Tires Direct and Sharam, for making this daily coverage possible.
Don't miss the giveaway today. Comment Bike Tires Direct and tag 2 friends on the Stage 3 highlights post on Instagram before the end of Stage 4 tomorrow. Plus, don't forget about the 10% discount code at Bike Tires Direct. That is Queen Stage, one word. Go get your Conti, what were they?
Grand Prix 5000.
Grand Prix 5000s.
We should include a link to those specific tires in the show notes too,
Yeah, I
in
got
case
it ready.
anyone wants to ride like a pro. And of course, make sure you subscribe so today's recap lands right in your feed, and keep sending us your questions in the WhatsApp chat. If you're not on there, just head to our Instagram bio and grab the link. Thank you so much for listening, and we will catch you tomorrow on stage 4.
Ciao.